So she is a cloud security specialist at the Verizon, co-founder at Step Up Skills, with over 15 years of experience identifying, assessing, and driving remediation for risk in applications. Niloufer understands unique client challenges across multiple industries. Niloufer stays up to date on technologies, frameworks, products, threats, and solutions. She holds multiple certifications in IT security, risk, privacy, audit, and fraud. She has authored two patents for system for an method of generating visual passwords and establishing an alternate call path using short-range wireless technology. She is the organizer of the largest cybersecurity career meetup group and creator of the YouTube channel Cybersecurity Career Talks. She co-founded the non-profit Step Up Skill in 2020 and ISC New Jersey chapter in 2012. She's our guide, mentor, whom we look up to for moving forward and excelling in our lives and business. We thank her for her amazing support and guidance in making us what we are today at Rainbow Secure. We also thank her for sponsoring AirMe platform for our Rainbow Secure Cyber Symposium 2021. Please put your hands together for our esteemed guest, Niloufer Tamboly.
And welcome to the Rainbow Secure Cybersecurity Awareness Month Conference. I am Niloufer Tamboly, the co-founder of Step Up Skills, a not-for-profit dedicated to helping people transition to a cybersecurity career. Today, we are going to talk about three certainties of life: death, taxes, and breaches. So what can we do? Pretty much nothing about death. We can plan and manage our taxes. When it comes to breaches, we can have controls in place to reduce the chances of a compromise and make it difficult for a threat actor. So let's go over a few 2021 breaches. In January 2021, the notorious hacker Shiny Hunters struck, this time at a men's clothing retailer called Bonobos. The cybercriminal made away with the PII of over 7 million shoppers, which included their addresses, phone numbers, account information, plus 3.5 million partial credit card numbers. The stolen data was discovered in a forum of hackers given away for free. Pumps in the eastern US screeched to a halt earlier this year after a ransomware attack on a major fuel provider disrupted the petroleum supply chain. Colonial Pipeline carries 45% of East Coast supply of petroleum, diesel, and jet fuel, which was compromised by hacking and by an organization called DarkSide. The group stole nearly 100 gigabytes of data, threatening to release it on the internet unless a ransom was paid. And as a result of this ransomware attack, US gas prices rose to 6 cents per gallon, and many gas stations face shortages fueled by panic buying and supply chain disruptions. Tens of millions of Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn profiles have been exposed by a company you probably never heard of called Social Larks. Due to an unsecure database, the quickly growing Chinese social media management company leaked personally identifiable information of some 214 million social media users, some of whom were major influencers and celebrities. The PII leaks would allow anyone to piece together the victim's full names, subscriber data, country of residence, phone numbers, and other contact information. It is not often that we think of grocery stores as targets for a healthcare hack, but that is exactly what happened to supermarket mogul Kroger. In February 2021, a breach at a third-party cloud provider, Acelion, opened the door for hackers, giving them unfettered access to Kroger's human resources data and pharmacy records. Although the company claims only 1% of its customers were affected, the breached records included sensitive information such as names, phone numbers, home addresses, dates of birth, social security numbers, and prescriptions and health insurance information. Right-wing social media app Parler suffered one of 2021's biggest data breaches, with over 70 terabytes of data scraped off by a hacktivist shortly before AWS pulled its hosting from the site. This massive data breach exposed 99% of apps' post, messages, and video data, including metadata listing posters, locations, dates, and times. Included in the leaked information were driver licenses and government issued photo IDs or Parler's verified citizens, as well as the information users believed they had deleted. However, this hack was not illegal, as scraping is not a criminal offense. Rather, Parler's flawed API allowed for anyone to download the information from their WordPress website. An unnamed marketing services company is responsible for the breach of 3.3 million Volkswagen and Audi customers and prospects in Canada and the US, thanks to the data left unsecured. The vulnerable data collected between the years of 2014 and 2019 was accessed by an unauthorized party in March. The sensitivity of the information varied from make and model of vehicles that had been purchased or inquired about to a smaller number of breached social security numbers, tax IDs, loan numbers, and driver's license information. So we saw all these breaches, and according to the Verizon data breach investigations report, 85% of breaches are due to three factors: social engineering, system intrusions, and basic web application compromises. So let's see the type of attacks we see in each classification. Social engineering is one of the 8 incident classification patterns. The most predominant actions are phishing, though pretexting, which is normally associated with business email compromise, is also common. Social engineering attacks often result in the loss of credentials. Those stolen credentials are used in both hacking and malware attacks. System intrusion is one of the 8 incident classification patterns. System intrusion consists of more complex attacks. Typically, these involve numerous steps. The majority of these attacks involve malware, which is usually used for ransomware, but also include mage card type attack, which are used to target payment card data in web applications. Hacking also appears in many attacks and more often consists of the use of stolen credentials or brute force attacks. Basic web application attack is one of the 8 incident classification patterns. Basic web application attacks are focused on getting access to email and web application data to repurpose the web application for malware distribution or defacement or for future DDoS attacks. And use of stolen creds is a top hacking action in these incidents. So how do we stop them, prevent them, make it difficult for the threat actor? Let's examine a few top security countermeasures. Security awareness and training continues to be one of our best countermeasure for social engineering, because everyone is responsible for security and everybody in the organization, whether it is contractors, customers, or employees, need to receive role specific training. Members of your organization should be trained to recognize social engineering attacks. Training has to be annual or at a frequency which is required within your organization based on your risk factor, depending on your industry. All members need to be aware of authentication best practices and data handling best practices. We need to train our employees, we need to test them, and we need to make sure that anybody who is not up to par and cannot recognize known social engineering attacks receive remedial help and training. Access controls is another category of controls. Access control is not just one thing. It is like a bunch of controls which together form access controls, and they provide one of the best kind of security against all these other attacks. For privileged accounts, we have to make sure that credentials are issued, managed, verified, revoked, and authorized and audited for devices, users, and processes. When it comes to multi-factor authentication, we have to make sure that our users, devices, and other assets are authenticated. We could use either single-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication, commensurate with the risk of the transaction, and depending on the security and privacy risk of your organization. Another good control or a group of controls to have is to make sure that you centralize access control for all enterprise assets, either through a directory service or an SSO provider, wherever it is supported. Security misconfiguration remains a major threat vector, as we saw from the Parler and Volkswagen Audi breaches. Secure baseline images hardened in accordance with the CIS benchmarks provide users a secure and scalable computing environment. Uninstall or disable unnecessary services on enterprise assets and software. Configure trusted DNS servers. Enforce automatic device lockout on all your portable user devices, end user devices, and enforce remote wipe capabilities on all end user devices as well. I want to thank Nehal and Dhaval for organizing this month-long conference and the role Rainbow Security plays in securing our infrastructure. Thank you so much, and let's connect on LinkedIn. Bye.
What a wonderful presentation we just heard from Niloufer. Very much, I would say, to the point and, very relevant. The tips that she gave, whether you're looking at the authentication side or you're looking at the BYOD, the devices that remote workers use today. So I think security and compliance does not just stop at your antivirus or just VPN. Security has to be taken as an overall consideration. You should have overall business workflow, devices, applications, data sharing, and endpoint protection. So Niloufer is right that in today's world, where ransomware threats are lurking, where hackers are constantly trying to do newer attacks, we as a infosec people and also the business side of the IT who deals with the business community, it's a collaborative effort. And Niloufer's talk is definitely reinforcing the learnings we had over the last 4 weeks, where we were having talks on the AppSec, on the development process, and now today she reinforced that how ransomware is targeting vital installations like pipeline attacks, which is impacting not only the actual user, but it's actually impacting the wide spectrum, wide reach, like going the gas prices up, people are not able to fill the gases. There's so much wide scale ramifications that she just pointed out, that what happens when you not secure even your rarely used account, because that's what happened with collagen pipeline, that one of the account which had not had a MFA on, and there were some other loophole with that account. So people thought that nobody's using it, and they forgot to handle it. So in enterprise security, everything is noteworthy, everything has to be taken care of. And that's what Niloufer highlighted. So I think it was wonderful for Niloufer to give us the recording, and we could have her knowledge and wisdom. She has always been helpful with her guidance and mentorship to the Rainbow Secure and also to the overall cybersecurity community in state of New Jersey. So she has also been an active member of ISC Square. She is leading Step of Skills. Again, thanks to her, that now many young graduates will get a proper career path in the security skills. So she is very much say right on the trajectory where she is making an impact to the overall cybersecurity and defense of the commercial organizations as a whole. So I think this is something that we should all learn, that apart from her being an infosec professional and working at Verizon and having a full-time work, still she is doing so much community work. She is giving her time, her efforts, and she's running different activities all across the spectrum. Whether you are talking about the career guidance, you are talking about the startup mentorship, whether you talk about, say, helping evaluating businesses with the CIS controls. So she has been wonderful, because her knowledge, her experience, her uh, what she brings on the table is wonderful. So I would encourage to go through the Niloufer's profile at Rainbow Secure Symposium site and connect with her on LinkedIn, and you can also get some guidance on whatever the projects you are working. If you have been thinking of switching to a cybersecurity career, she is a very good mentor. She is also part of actually Score New Jersey platform. So you can reach her out via either of the platforms. Either you can sign up as a business and register for Score. You can sign up directly with the Step of Skills if you are a professional and thinking of getting a career guidance. If you are a startup and want some help with your strategies, then she's always welcoming. So without much taking much time, I would like to see if there's any questions for Niloufer. Let me review the chat. Yes, I think people are liking the Niloufer sessions. Yes, remote wipe is must. Yes. So one of the tip that Niloufer gave was that how you handle the BYOD threats. Because if your work phone or work device is stolen, and if it has a sensitive data, which normally is the fact that enterprise users do tend to save a lot of things on a C drive, for example, and that's actually very great threat to a business. That if you lose your work device and if your credential happen to get compromised, and if somebody is trying to hack you, then they would have taken a lot of efforts to get your credentials. So now next step would have been for them to get hold of your device, and now that they already did. So your device with the hacker and your credential with the hacker is very dangerous phenomenon. So I would, give this tip and advice to the business users that as much as use your company's corporate drive, as much as use your secure vault that your company has provided you to store the sensitive data. Don't save anything business related business data on the C drive, because you think that okay, I will delete it later, but even if you delete it, that file fragment does remain on the drive that hackers can access. There are so many tools available in the market that once hackers get hold of your device, then he has all the time in the world to recover the files that you have already deleted. Even if you have deleted a file from the recycle bin, but still, if you had not used special tools to really erase the data at a byte level, then your files are still intact and anybody can recover it. So this is, I think, Niloufer's presentation was right on point with many different aspects. Whether you look at the authentication aspects, where she's stressing more on the having a multi-layer, multi-factor security, and at the device level as well, that how you handle the business data in the right way. So that was the knowledge gems that we had.